The table of values below corresponds to the function y equals f of x. Give a table of values for the function y equals 1 over f of x. Given the function y equals f of x, y equals 1 over f of x is called the reciprocal function of f of x. To create a table of values for a reciprocal function, if given a table of values for the original function, for each point x comma y on f of x, the point x comma 1 over y is on the reciprocal function. Points for which y equals 1 or y equals negative 1 remain unchanged. These points are called invariant points. Note that taking the reciprocal of 1 or negative 1 will simply result in 1 or negative 1. Points for which y equals 0 are undefined for the reciprocal. These will correspond to vertical asymptotes of the graph. Note that division by 0 is undefined. Points for which y is greater than 1 will correspond to values of 0 to 1 for y on the reciprocal graph. Points that are between 0 and 1 for y on the original graph will have y greater than 1 for the reciprocal. Points for which y is less than negative 1 correspond to a y value between negative 1 and 0. And finally, points that have the original graph of y between negative 1 and 0, the y value will be less than negative 1 for the reciprocal. Looking at the table of values given here for f of x, the x value of negative 3 for the original function, y is 4. This means that for the reciprocal, the y value will be 1/4. For x equals 2, the y value for f of x being 1, this corresponds to an invariant point. The reciprocal of 1 is still 1. For x equals negative 1, the reciprocal of 0.5 is 2. For x equals 0, we cannot take the reciprocal of 0. This would be undefined. Therefore, this point would be undefined and would correspond to a vertical asymptote on the graph. For x equals 1, the reciprocal of negative 0.25 is negative 4. For x equals 2, the reciprocal of negative 1 is also negative 1. This is another invariant point. And finally, for x equals 3, the reciprocal of negative 2 is negative 1/2.